Okay, I've just started recording, David. Just noticed. Oh, I'm on. Ooh. Okay, right. Well, final morning. Last piece of rest beckoned this afternoon. I can afford to actually have a nice kip in the afternoon rather than falling asleep in the middle of Paul's talk, which you can't, which you can't do in the conference centre. But when you're lying down on your settee listening, it's hard to stay awake sometimes. However good the teaching is, when you don't get much sleep, sometimes it catches up on you. But anyway, so many of you thought this wouldn't work. It was a struggle at the beginning. I think Kit was the only one that really was sort of understood what I was talking about at the beginning, about 7 weeks ago. Quite a few of you said to me, no, it will never work and I'm not coming. And yet I see you all here. So thank you for trusting us and allowing us to demonstrate that, these things are possible. I do remember Paul was with me, I think about 7 weeks ago in the Modin meeting. I think Sally was there and Chris, and I had a phone call from David Andrew, and he said to me, what's this email you've sent out? What, you've made this conference online? What are you doing? Are you crazy? And I have to say, I spent 20 minutes talking to him about it. And by the end of the 20 minutes, he was swinging from the chandeliers because he actually got the vision. And it really helped to start to bring people round, because we needed a solid team behind me to do this. I mean, this team has been absolutely amazing. If you only knew what was going on behind the scenes, those of you who are not privy to our WhatsApp group for the conference, once things get going, that messages are flying around about one every 5 seconds since the start of the conference. And this team of about 15 people have been what's kept it going. So I know it was mentioned earlier about Monica and I, but this had to be a team effort more than any other conference. There was just so much to do behind the scenes, and it's normal to thank people. I don't normally thank people, but I'd like to thank you all globally. I mean, we probably had a team of about 30 people as a whole, but I'd like to mention particularly 5 of you. I'd like to thank Kit and David Sell just for the work behind the scenes before the conference, sorting out the technical stuff. And, thank you, Kit, for being with me right at the beginning, but also David, not only at the beginning, but what he's done during this conference. If you only knew the technical challenges that poor old David has had to deal with, if there's anyone a little bit younger, to give him a bit of a rest. And I think we all say that, those of us who are of a certain generation, it will be nice to be able to mentor another generation coming up to sort of take over or at least help us with some of these tasks. So if you're a little bit younger, and under 50, I suppose will do, we'll be happy to mentor you for the next conference. So I'd like to thank Jackie, because Jackie came in cold, basically. Didn't give her much notice, and especially on the first day where I kept switching the spotlight on her when she wasn't ready. It was a joy to behold, but she got used to it by the end, and she's done a fantastic job. And even without any interpreters, I think you all figured out her accent, and she's been a great communicator. So thank you, Jackie. And the other two, I'd like to thank all the co-hosts. The 2 in particular would be Christine and Nigel. Christine and Nigel have been basically co-hosting us for the last 2.5 years on our Tuesday meetings, and they've been amazing. The things that they've done over the last 2.5. We've had meetings where Christine started the meeting, no one's turned up. So, there's been some real challenges. There's been meetings where maybe 20 or so, but the 2 of them have been fantastic, and they've carried on their skills in this conference and helped to train the others up. And they're totally exhausted, I know, but I also know that both of them are here in the background, ready to jump in if there's any problems. So, real thank you for you two and the rest of you. you know, that people have remarked how well the team have worked together. But you know, it's definitely a group effort. And of course, they've got the music groups who have, you know, just up to their usual standards and dance and. I haven't seen any dance yet, but we're going to, so that'll be fun. And just everything. I just love. I just have to thank. I mean, sometimes it's good to have something a little bit on the lighter side. So yesterday afternoon was just so great. Joy. You were a joy. and also Ryan and Mr. Sinbad. It's very interesting to see a show and tell that has the show but doesn't have the tell. And it gave Joy a good amount of time to show us around her bath time teddy bear Bible character choir. And sadly, we didn't video it, but I'd like to give you an invitation, Joy, that in the near future we will have you back and we'll video you doing it, because Monica said that firstly I think she missed it, but it'll be a great teaching tool for children. What you actually did. Would be great to show kids and get them into the Bible characters. So if you're there, Joy, you haven't heard the end of us. Okay, you know, it's been quite amazing. You know, every aspect of the conference. Saturday afternoon in particular, I can't remember another time in the whole of Foundation's history where I believe that the atmosphere was just so electric. And there's two things that come to mind. One is the thing that started from David Sell's talk and the Q&A that followed, and the atmosphere of just openness and repentance, and the fact that it was coming from the teachers and the leaders who were just opening their souls and their hearts, and it was just amazing. And it just shows you, you know, that this medium can work. You know, emotions can transfer through pixels on the screen. And I must admit, you know, I was very, very moved by the whole afternoon. I'm sure many of you were. And of course it carried through to the evening with Barry as well. So that would be something I'd always remember Saturday afternoon. So where next? Okay, so it was mentioned about F14. Of course, our desire is that it will be as last year in Devon. But it's pointed out to me yesterday that even if the government start relaxing some of their measures, saying that you could meet in Devon, but you'd have to stay apart from each other, and, you know, lots of little rules and regulations. And if there's any hint that the virus could still be prevalent in some way, I wouldn't want to risk anyone, you know, because a lot of us are getting on a bit, and a few of us have, you know, health issues, and we certainly don't want, you know, to compromise anyone in that way. And so I think it would need a miracle for it to happen, and we should pray for that miracle, because that has to be plan A. But plan B hasn't worked too badly this time, so maybe plan B is actually plan A, and perhaps we will end up with another virtual conference. I'd still say, just whatever way we look at it, F14 is definitely happening. So with those forms that are in your pack, and will be on the website, we will, everything you see in there will actually happen. If it's and so if you say pay a deposit to, I think it's £100 deposit per person. If you pay a deposit and it becomes a virtual thing, then there won't be any more to pay. If we're obviously in a physical location, then you would have to pay the balance. But I think that we can do a really good job virtually, and we can learn from things that we did in this conference and make it even better. I think we can really sharpen things up and make it a great conference if it has to be a virtual one. So we're not going to back out of our commitment there. And the other thing, I think the big thing, I always thought that this was going to be a testing ground, this conference, as to how the virtual thing can work, because you know, I'd hate us to follow the same route as all the other church initiatives of just having streaming video, basically, with very little interaction. But it seems to me that it actually worked quite well, and I'd be quite happy to make this, say, a permanent installation, and in other words, a virtual foundations on a daily basis, not 24-hour, but I would suggest maybe, we haven't talked to anyone yet, but maybe 2 hours a day, maybe 2 till 4 or something, where we can have elements of the things that we've incorporated in. So we can have weekly slots. For instance, I did mention briefly to Colin, if he's here, like Colin Nevin can do a weekly Hebrew class, give him a 2-hour slot on a Wednesday afternoon, a room in a virtual conference center. You go to Colin's room and there, or you can go to another room, maybe there'll be a dance workshop or whatever. We can have all the sort of stuff that we did here. We can have teaching, fellowship, and you can see that it's possible, and you can see that it is real, and we can get over the barrier of having pixels on the screen. As I said the other day, it's spirit to spirit is the key thing, and God has shown us that He can work even through the virtual means. So if He doesn't have any limitations, then neither should we. So if that's something that you're happy with, I'm going to give you a chance to feedback about that in 2 ways. Very soon, I think we can have a bit of a Q&A. You can ask any questions. Before that, I just want to see if there's anything else. In terms of this week, Zoom has been cancelled for this week. Okay, so no meeting tomorrow, no fellowship meeting tomorrow, no Bible school on Thursday, but the whole thing will start again next week. So if you want to meet old friends, come along next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but tomorrow week at 7 o'clock, and we'll have our weekly fellowship. And Paul will be starting his next series of Bible school on the Thursday of next week, which I think is the 7th at 7 o'clock. Right, so actually, I also want to thank my 3 boys. I mean, they're amazing. I couldn't believe how well the 3 of them worked together. They're all 3 very different, and I'm not sure if Phil was actually here listening, but they all have very, very different characters, and they all very, very skilled in what they did. So Phil was very, very good at the back in the back room, because he's got a video background, and he gave us a lot of hints and tips that were really useful. Johnny, unflappable under pressure, and Simon, our middle son, who only came in for the workshops. He's just so professional and courteous. Those of you who experienced him in the workshop could see that he's the friendly one. He's the one that takes after Monica rather than me. So that's basically it. What I want to do now, and I hope this is going to work before I open up for any questions, is we prepared a poll. Okay, now this is going to be easier than putting your hands up. So I'm going to press a button, and something's going to come up on your screen, and it's going to ask you 3 questions, and all you got to do is click on your answer to each. Just click on them, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to do so. If there's any problems, then maybe tell Jackie and she'll tell me. But we'll try it out now, and I'll keep it up for a minute or 2. Here we go. So hopefully you'll see a poll coming up on your screen. If you are a co-host, no point doing it, because it doesn't accept no co-hosts. This is only for, and you can scroll it down. I wonder if I can do that. I'm not sure if you're seeing what I'm doing. No?
Not yet, Steve.
What?
Steve, everyone needs to go to the bottom of the screen and press polls.
Oh, wait a minute. I haven't launched it yet, have I?
Okay.
Okay, no. There's a launch polling button that I haven't pressed. Now try it. Yeah, does it come up?
Yes.
All right, there you go. It seems to be a timer on it, so I'm not sure if it will disappear afterwards. So 3 questions to answer. You just got to click on the answer. If you're a co-host, it won't pay any attention to you. I don't know how long I should put this up for. Some of you may need to think about it, but we're not going to hold you to your answer. So it's only for us just to get an This is amazing.
You have to scroll it down because on my laptop I have
Yeah.
to scroll.
Yeah, you might have to scroll it down. This is interesting. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. It's the results are coming up in real time.
20 have voted so far. Thank you.
20. That all? Come on. 21. So far, reasonably positive. I'm sure there's going to be a few negatives eventually. So.
I love that last one.
What?
Go for it. Count on me.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's pretty good. Are you actually seeing the real-time results, or is it just me seeing it?
The way all are, Steve, I think.
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? And I would think, in a way, if the co-hosts were included, they'll probably say never again. So in a way, I'm glad that the co-hosts are not voting. 37 of 48. And obviously a few of you are still thinking. I'm not sure if it might actually close down maybe after 2 minutes. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it reaches the 2 minute mark.
John and Jan said they can't vote.
John and Jan say they can't vote.
Well, we don't want them, do we?
Roll somewhere.
How can you not vote? You haven't co-hosted them, have you?
No, I don't think so.
All right. There's 10.
Oh, their screen isn't responding.
Oh, it's just just a local thing there. We've been stuck on
38.
Right, 38 for some time.
49.
I'll give it until like 3 minutes. When we hit the 3 minutes, I'll end it, and I presume I'll get a report and I'll email it to everyone. So, but it's looking good. I'm glad there's no disappointing.
You should be able to, Steve. You should be able to share the results at the end once you close the poll.
Yeah. Okay. Right. The permanent presence. That's depends on what it is. Yeah, that's true because I don't know what it is yet. Probably is good. Go for it. Count me in is very satisfying. So that's really good. Having said that, we're going to need help. Obviously, to get the thing running, we're going to need, say, co-hosts, but it'll be quite minimal expertise needed. It's just a presence of sensible people, because we have to monitor what's going on in case someone creates havoc. All right, so I'll take what do you think, Christine? When should I stop? It's 41:08.
Hang on, I've got another message here. Keith and Nancy can't submit either.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm sure they were going to be positive. We're up to 83%. Shall we end it then? I mean, it's only for this is, as I say, it's only a general idea. You know, we're not going to hold people to it. It's got.
I think we've got as many as are going to get through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to end the poll now. Share results. I'm not sure what happens when I click on that, but I'll share it.
Go for
it. Where's it gone?
It's asking. Oh no, I don't know.
So have you all got a message to say, would you like to see the results?
Not yet.
No, the results are just frozen. So
yeah,
it's 60% on exceeded all expectations.
Yep.
Number one.
Yeah.
62% for yes. Number two.
Yeah.
And then 62% for go for it for number three.
Yeah, it's a lot of 62s. 60s. Okay, I'll stop the sharing now. And that's the end of the poll. That's good. Thank you very much for polling. The results will be in the Daily Mail tomorrow. No, so coming to the end of my section. Oh, I'm quite early, aren't I? I meant to say anything else. That's what I'll give more time for everyone else. So I'm sure that'd be good.
Steve, perhaps we could ask if there are any questions.
The questions as well. I knew I'd missed something out. Yeah. Any questions?
Perhaps they've all gone off to make a cup of coffee.
I can see it. I can
We
see
have a
it.
question. Oh, disappeared.
That was Deborah Smith.
Yes.
Hey, my old mates. Someone's got to unmute them.
Sorry. Okay, Deborah, you're now unmuted.
Okay, thank you. It's a question really. It might not concern everybody here, but when you're thinking about having something daily or even a few times a week, by having it at between 2 and 4 in the afternoon, you cut off anybody who has a normal working schedule. So whilst I realise that that might fit in for a lot of people, for other people it will completely alienate them from that experience. Would you consider having it at different times on different days?
Absolutely.
So that people with working schedules can fit
I
in?
haven't actually thought. I haven't thought about it at all. That 2 to 4 is just plucked out of the air. I see your point. I suppose at the moment I'm thinking even those who have full-time jobs tend to be working from home at the moment, and maybe you can work around them. But
yeah, I just think for those people who are working home, actually working in this way, most of us are working on Zoom most of the day, and actually the workload has increased incredibly because there's no downtime in the day anymore. So I think it's even more difficult, really.
I'm totally open to any. Maybe we'll do a sort of a poll. Maybe not this time, but maybe when I email everybody, I will put up some suggested times.
Yeah.
And see what we can end up with. I mean, I'd mentioned that we start off small, and we could end up, covering the whole day. Who knows? It all depends on having people with time on their hands just to keep an eye on it. To make sure that it's being you have to moderate these things, otherwise, especially with Christians. I've run over the years many. In fact, I think Kit as well with me, Christian forums for Premier Radio, in particular Revelation TV, and every one of them had to be closed down because a Christian had gone in there with dodgy ideas and has caused the thing to be closed down, and we can't allow that to happen. And so what we'll probably do is that certainly in the first instance, the only people allowed in will be those who come through our network, like Winter Foundations or on the Salt Shakers community.
I would very much like to have an evening meeting if possible, because of course at the moment I'm working as well. So
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, as I say, we haven't really thought about it yet.
It's worth. Sorry, can I just say it's worth pointing out that we've already got a fellowship meeting on a Tuesday evening and a Bible school on a Thursday evening. So there are 2 evenings already. So we do.
Well, they could be a part of it. That can actually be one facet of it anyway.
Absolutely.
I was just thinking of Ginny, if she can't, whether Ginny could text her question in if her microphone's not working. Otherwise, is there anyone else? No one else? All right.
Oh, Anita has a question. Okay, Anita, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Yes, I just have to say, Stephen, if you're going to do, obviously you've got to think about it, and you've got to plan it all, and so it's going to take a bit of time. But we were actually speaking about this morning at breakfast and saying how we'd love to have something similar to this, maybe every so often. So it's just a thumbs up for that. And I was very sceptical when you first suggested it. I'm sorry, I was.
You're one of those.
I know, but I'm really so happy I've been proved wrong, and it's really a personal thank you, basically, to all of you, because it's been such a wonderful experience, and I can tell you the Lord has really, really worked in me. So I want to give you a big, big thank you, 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you. Right. Anything else? Right,
No more questions at this stage.
Right.
No more questions at this stage, Steve.
No. Okay. We'll have an open time later on, so then maybe there can be questions later if anything comes to mind. Okay. Now, those of you with the pack, and certainly all of you who got the downloadable file, which said was it anything you need, I think it was called. In there was a recipe for challah, which some of you may have used and created. If you have, you can maybe show it to the challah that you've made. Or you could be too embarrassed to show it. This is not a compulsory thing, but I thought at the time that it was actually part of the havdalah thing, and David and Kayla told me it wasn't. So what we do at this stage normally is that we, when we in a physical conference, we have these two challah breads, and we use it just as a gesture of fellowship with each other. So all I was going to suggest that those of you who've made a challah, that you take a piece and show it and then eat it, and sort of even offer it, virtually offer it to other people. If you wanted to do that, being in gallery mode would be interesting. So I'm looking in gallery view and I don't see anyone with any colours.
Yes, there is.
Oh yeah, oh my goodness, there's a big one from Ryan and Mary. My
yes.
goodness.
Wow.
Norma, did you make that in your ice cream maker? Right. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
David. Oh yeah, Kayla's already eating hers, I think. That's good. So just have a piece and even if you haven't, just pretend to. But just to say, this is where we simply say, we are one family, and we just share the bread together. So we can do it virtually. We can do it in our minds. So bless you all, and I think that's going to be the end of my session now. Now I don't know what's going to happen now. Whether John has created the timeline. I can see. I'm looking into his room and he's not there.
No,
or is it David? Is it David Sell that's got it?
Hello, we are here.
Right. So are we going to see a timeline video?
Yes, when do you...
slideshow.
It's a slideshow. When do you want it?
If we do it now, it'd be great.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm not sure whether it's going to come on the screen or not this way, so can you give me a shout if it doesn't appear within seconds?
Steve, can you bear in mind that what you see on your screen is what will go on the recording?
Oh, I see. Very good point.
Yeah, so you'll have to keep the...
Yeah.
You can resize the split screen.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Right.
Can you see anything now?
Yes.
This is from Prophetic Art.
We can't see it. We have to go down here.
Here we are. Yeah.
Okay. Not that awful one. It's good. It's not. No,
Maybe the person who's done it can actually speak up and talk about it. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe Rosie can describe them.
It's a bit difficult, so...
Hey, Rosie, you're unmuted.
I can unmute myself. The theme was about oil in the prophetic art. So a lot of these are related to, you can see the floodgates. That's Jan, I think. The floodgates opening up and the oil coming out. And we had a lot about a river of oil bringing healing to the land. And there's the living water and the healing of the leaves. Oh, I can hardly see that one. I can't remember that one. The leaves of the trees, the healing of the nations. Yeah, so we had quite a few. And you can see the oil pouring from heaven. That was Robert's. And there were all these vessels, And as we were praising and worshipping, the oil from heaven was coming down. Diane, you can say about that.
It was oil coming over the blue planet, healing nations.
And this was our lovely friend from America. And she'd never done anything like this. And she was the vessel of oil being overflowing. Oh, and this was on my walk. I felt it was about God's timing was different from our timing. And that our timing seemed to be standing still, but there's so many seeds in God's timing. Oh yeah, there's Barbara looking out from her drawing from America. She's not with us this morning.
No. Sleep.
And that's Ginny. I don't know whether Ginny can talk about hers, but the oil was pouring, and in the middle you can see the UK. And the oil was pouring to heal the land. There was somebody with a small jar, and that was being filled, and then there was somebody with an enormous jar being filled. And that's a self-explanatory. And that was Paula, and she was praying that the Lord would unlock more of our hearts so that the healing oil could be released. And this was wonderful because the light of Jesus was glowing, the light of the world, but out of it came this fragrant oil, and that was healing the land. And you can see the trees, some of them are dead, but they're starting to come to life. We had a lot of healing the land.
I think that must be the last one.
That's the last one.
We've also got a folder of the timeline. I don't know when you want that.
Now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see if I can get out of this. There we go. Right. So go to the timeline.
Quite a lot. Who's that?
Gorgeous.
Oh yeah, that's Roses.
Really good, aren't they? Yeah. The fact that they actually can be seen is a miracle.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Is that a pyramid?
I think it's Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. It's Little Patience. Little Patience, age 6.
Oh, I thought it was buried. All right. Well, that's complicated, isn't it?
Diane's for all the talks, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, look at that. I'm glad we are videoing all this, so we can make it available.
And we've got all the files separately, all the picture files separately.
Oh,
John.
right, that's good. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's Faith.
That's Barry's.
That's Little Patience again.
Little Patience. Oh. Beautiful.
Wow.
All right. Rosie Smith, well, it would be. Intimacy. Oh, yeah, the sorry, yeah. Very good.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's good. Self-reliance.
Yeah.
That was in the evening, wasn't it? Morning man.
So, One new man is not a new concept. Cosmic concept of David Andrews. Amazing, isn't it? The creative art is just so worshipful, isn't it?
That was Jackie's.
Oh, really?
When you've heard the message, some of the pictures that have been drawn bring it all back just in a moment.
Yeah.
Wow. So someone was listening to Paul. Cool.
And that's faith again.
That's Hope Stevenson.
Let God do it. Lovely.
Love it.
A holy nation. Secret place.
Someone like charades.
Oh.
Wow, no, that's a great drawing. That.
Yes, some people might have been missing my dog's joy. That was last night.
Oh.
He's still clothing.
Oh, you got teddy bears.
And that's the end.
Wow.
Oh.
Fantastic. Really good.
Brilliant. Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, so I think we now move on to the Macro household.
Yes, I knew that. But
Yeah.
We're muted now. Don't shout. That was beautiful. I forgot to send mine yesterday. Shalom, everyone. We prepared our little things for our havdalah. We've got a cup with some wine. We've got our havdalah candle. It can be any candle, but you know, but I used a special one for this occasion. We've got a little pot with the spices. I've got cinnamon, ginger, and all spices, but you can use anything. Nobody's used cinnamon and bay leaves and cloves. I don't have cloves.
Oh, didn't you make a pot?
Yeah, you make your own mixture. Yeah, which is the best way. Is the best way, I think.
No, we made a pot, but it got wet.
The pot got wet, got flooded, so that didn't get ready. So unfortunately, that was the punish. You have a nice pot for it, but didn't quite work out. That's my torch for the candle lighting. So what we're going to start, David's going to start introducing.
I'll just give you a brief introduction to the havdalah ceremony. Havdalah literally means separation. The ceremony is recited at the end of the Sabbath on Saturday night when 3 stars are visible in the sky to mark the distinction between the departing sacred day and the ordinary weekday, Yom Chol. That is beginning. One way to begin your havdalah ceremony is to go outside and look at the stars, to behold the wonder of God's creation, which is difficult in the morning, but imagine there's stars outside.
Yeah. Set the scene. It's Saturday night.
Yeah.
Draw it.
The ceremony is usually celebrated at home with family or friends and includes 3 blessings over wine, spices, and light, as well as the hamavdil, a blessing thanking God for separating the days and making the Shabbat sacred. 3 components are required for the home ceremony: a tall braided candle, where am I?
That's yourself.
There. Oh yes, with several wicks, a Kiddush cup of wine, and a box filled with fragrant spices known as besamim.
I'm sure yours is more beautiful than mine.
Yes. Now we have some opening scriptures. The first one is from Isaiah 12, verse 2 to 3. Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For the Lord Adonai is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation. Therefore, with joy, we shall draw water out of the wells of salvation.
Amen.
And the second is from Psalm 116, verse 13. This is also often recited. I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome.
And we're going to do is, instead of trying to teach you the Hebrew, we're going to read the translation first, and we sing it in Hebrew to you.
I don't want to read the Hebrew. I want to read the English.
Mateus, would you like to know? No. Ready then.
Right, the first one is the blessing over the wine. Now, if you've got your wine, you can hold your wine up in a minute, but don't drink it.
Yeah.
Until we say so. Right. And blessing is, blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. So we're now going to do what we normally do at havdalah and sing the blessing in Hebrew. Right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen borei peri hagafen. Amen.
That's the first blessing. Second blessing.
The second blessing is the blessing over the spices.
Get your pots. There were beautiful spice boxes. I'm
made.
sure yours are much beautiful than mine, but praise God.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, creator of all spices. Right.
And it says there you can go a bit further on the spices. Yeah, you can say you can choose any spices you like. And let me get my eyes. Sorry, I'm a bit. Since smelling spices helps distinguish special fragrance from the more ordinary, part of the reason for the besamim box, which is the spices box, is to illustrate another separation of the sacred from the profane. From the, the following blessings said upon smelling the spice boxes. So we pass on the boxes to one another, we smell it, and we really appreciate God's spices, creations of aroma for us to enjoy. Yeah, so we're gonna sing and smell it. Join us, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam haolam borei minei besami borei minei besami. Amen. La 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 la.
And the third blessing?
The third blessing is the blessing over the fire. The havdalah candle represents the light, the first element created by God at the beginning of the first week. Lighting this candle is the first act of work permitted on Yom Chol. After lighting, hold your hands close to the flame in order to see the reflection. The flame on your fingernails or the shadow of your palm. The light represents the light which we can now work with our hands and the world in the world around us. So the following blessing is said upon considering the light. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, creator of the light of fire.
That's really
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei miorei hayesh borei miorei hayesh. Amen. La 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 la.
The last bread is the one of the Hamavdil. The last blessing of the ceremony is Hamavdil, the blessing of the separation of different things. Further up on you. Different things. This blessing is recited over the Kiddush cup of wine, only the light of the Havdalah candle. So the atmosphere will be that your whole kitchen or living room will be very dark. There will be no lights on. The only light will reflect the light of your Havdalah candle. So you will be doing this. Matthias, do you want to read the last blessing?
Please.
in English.
We'll read it in English. Yeah?
Yeah.
And after he reads that, we're gonna get the candle and then sip into the.
I'm gonna drink the wine first.
We drink the wine first, of course, and then we just sizzle the candle. It's flames go out, and we wish Shavuot Tov to everyone, which is a good week ahead.
Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who separates the holy from the profane, light from darkness, Israel from the nations, the seventh day from the sixth day of labor. Blessed are you, Lord our God, who separates between the holy from the profane.
Amen. Right, so if you've got your wine,
you can drink together.
Have a sip. Take a small sip.
And the first act that you do to start your week, havdalah night, is to sizzle the candle. Want to do it?
My legs now is too much.
You do it together then.
Yeah.
We all say Shavuot Tov. A good week ahead. God bless you, everyone. Shalom, shalom.
We have the bread. We don't. Steve was wrong.
Okay, well, that was fantastic. And the Shabbat is now ended. We're back into the working week. But we've still got plenty to go. So I think we're going to move over to... Oh, Jackie's got a hand up. You got your hand up, Jackie? No? Oh, she's clapping. Oh, she's clapping. Okay. We're on to the dance room, the room of dance.
Okay, Jenny, you're now on.
Okay. So what was amazing was that we actually did anything, actually, because when you think, well, the brief is, can you just dance on a video? What? You can't do that. But anyway, our little team that gathered were just amazing, really incredible. And David Still's amazing technology, and John, we've managed to put together a video of the work that we did. Just to explain, it's called the Shabbat Blessing, and it's a Marty Getz, a Messianic Believer, arrangement of that song, which is from Fiddler on the Roof, actually. But it's based on these scriptures. Isaiah 54:13, all your children shall be taught by the Lord, and great shall be the peace of your children. Because the dance is about blessing children. So, you know, we were encouraging ourselves to enter into bless our own children or grandchildren, or if we haven't children, bless those children that we know in foundation, and those maybe in fellowships. And other verses that we based it on was Genesis 48:20. In time to come, Israel will use you as a blessing, and they will say, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And of course, the blessings are also to be like Sarah and Rebecca, Rachel and Leah. And of course, we know in Matthew 18, that Yeshua, he took the children and he blessed them. And Psalm 127 verse 3 says, behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb, a reward. So it's great to have the Stevenson children and others who come to us at Foundations. So we're just going to show now the compilation, and I'm not quite sure what happens after, whether we do the Psalm 191, but we'll do this one first. So the blessings for the children. Thank you.
So I've just got to find the right video now. Share computer sound, bottom of screen.
And defend you. May he always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. May you be deserving of praise. Strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's ways. May God bless you and grant you long life. And wives. May the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve
I wonder if you could just unmute Rosie, so Rosie can explain what we're going to do next. Because I actually wasn't at the meeting yesterday, so I wasn't entirely sure what we were going to do. Because we also did Psalm 191. So if you can just unplug Rosie, so she can explain. 191.
That was absolutely unbelievable.
Okay, Rosie, you're unmuted.
Well, what we thought we'd like to do is that you would all actually have a go and copy Ginny and me or the video of that, what we've just seen, because it's very easy to follow. And if we do it prayerfully, it'll have just as much meaning, and we can just offer it as our Sabbath prayer, because it really does encapsulate the whole of the Sabbath prayer. So if we could show that again, and everybody could, you can do it sitting down, you don't have to stand up, but if you would like to stand up, it would be really good.
And if Ginny does it here.
And they're very simple. If Ginny could, if you could stand in your place, Ginny, and do it at the same time.
Okay.
In the room, because we can see your room as the video is playing. Yeah.
So do you want just the sound from the video? And Ginny demonstrating it? Or do you want the video?
Do the whole video again, because it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
And Ginny will be by the side, and we can all just follow again and do it. It's very easy to follow. And it's not a performance, it's a prayer. So this is our prayer for this morning. And offer it as a thanksgiving to the Lord.
Ready to go?
Yes, please.
And defend you. May He always shield you from shame. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May you be like Ruth and like Esther. Deserving of praise, strengthen them, O Lord, and keep them from the stranger's ways. May God bless you and grant you long life. Mothers and wives. May the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve you from pain. May you come to be in Israel a shining name. May the Lord protect and defend you. May the Lord preserve you from
lesson to you. The other dance that we did, and Rosie, you can interfere if I've got this bit wrong,
No,
which was a wonderful, wonderful composition of David McCraw. And it was really good. We should know Psalm 91 by now, by heart. And the dance was a circle dance, so it was like impossible for us to take a video of it, of the people in the workshop, because we kept disappearing off, so that was no good. However, we do have a very rough video of it that 8 of us actually are in this conference today were in. So Rosie, does that sound all right, just to show that?
Yeah, and you do it at the same time with Diane in your room.
The point is that it was the first time that we'd sort of choreographed it, particularly for this setting, nice and simple so everybody could follow. So it's not perfect, so the actual video you'll see is just us doing the very, very first version with our own guys. So there's loads of mistakes, but our guys who have been in this conference workshop just did so brilliantly. So we're just going to go. The thing is that Psalm 91 is our covering, our protection, our everything at this moment in time until we go beyond. And then we're still in actually Psalm 91, aren't we? To the very end anyway.
Yes.
But so we just offer you this. Thank you.
John will need to play this.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Right, I need to put pause out. Right. Now I need to share the screen.
Yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah. Share the sound. And now we can run it. Oops. Here we go.
Dwells in the secret place of the Most High, rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. He will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence.
Yeah.
He will cover you with His feathers, under His wings you will take refuge. His faithfulness is your shield and rampart. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that wastes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. Because you have made, Lord, your refuge, and the Most High your dwelling place. No evil shall happen to you, neither shall any set his love on me, and I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. Hey! Thank you, Lord. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. I will satisfy him with a long life, show him my salvation. Yeshua, Yeshua, I will show him my salvation. Yeshua,
Excellent. Now what?
Why are you looking at me? I think we're now over to Mr. David Andrew, Maestro. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, David, you're unmuted.
Good morning, folks. What a blessing. My goodness. Absolutely amazing to see what God has done to anoint his people, to encourage each other, build each other up in the most holy faith of Jesus. It's absolutely amazing this morning. It always is the last morning, but my goodness, just to see, I don't know how that was accomplished technically. It just seems amazing that we could all witness what we've just done. But God has been good to us, really blessed us this conference. And Steve was right to point out that I was an early doubter. So I praise the Lord to have been proved wrong. It's a joyful thing to be wrong in a case like this. So we've got 2 or 3 songs here. These are all well known, but we're going to start focusing on the holiness of God, because if we lose sight of that, we lose sight of who we are too. We're a holy nation, a royal priesthood, a people belonging to God, and our calling is to declare the praises of him who called us out of darkness into his wonderful light. So let's sing Holy, Holy, Holy. Just going to short intro.
Lovely solo from Agnes there.
Lovely solo from Agnes, because the microphone's live.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Our second one takes us into our theme of deep, heartfelt concern for our nation, for the nations. It's an old song that was written by Graham Kendrick in the 80s, but it could have easily been written for today. O Lord, the clouds are gathering, the fire of judgment burns. How we have fallen. And it's a song that takes us into a very deep place of repentance, but it finishes on a note of absolute confidence that the living God's plans will never be turned aside, and the glorious cross of our Lord Jesus Christ will tower triumphant in this land, confounding evil. So let's sing together, O Lord, the clouds are gathering.
Justice flow like rivers and righteousness like an ever-failing stream. Good Lord, your glorious cross shall tower triumphant in this land. Evil confounding through the fire, your suffering church display the glories of her Christ. Praises resounding. Have mercy, Lord. Give us, Lord. Give us, Lord. Revive your church again. Forgive us, Lord, restore us, Lord, revive your church again.
So our precious Lord is in complete control of history. There's nothing happening right now that's taken him by surprise. And there is no plan B. So let's rejoice that our Lord is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. There's a day coming when every eye will see him, when every knee will bow before him. Many will bow in probably anger and resentment, but the knees will bow. because there will be no possibility of doubting who is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So let's sing, crown him with many crowns.
With many crowns, the Lamb upon his throne, hark how the heavenly anthem drowns the music but its own. All music drum and sing of him who died for me, and hail him as thy chosen King to all eternity. Crown him the Son of God before the worlds began, and ye who tread where he hath trod, crown him the Son of Man, who every grief hath known, that wrings the human breast, and takes and bears them for his own, that all in him may rest. Crown him the Lord of life, who triumphed o'er the grave, and draws victorious in the strife for those he came to save. His glories now we sing, who died and rose on high, who died eternal life to bring, and lives that death may die.
I'm sorry.
In the Lord of heaven, enthroned in worlds above, crown him the King to human, under his name of love. All hail, Redeemer, hail, for thou hast died for me. Thy praise shall never, never fail throughout eternity.
Sorry for doing you out of that last verse. I think, are we back to Steve now?
Unmute yourself, Steve.
I'm unmuted. Right, I think we're going to have like a 10-15 minute break, stretch your legs, toilet break, etc. And we're going to start again at 10:45 with Jose and Sarah. Okay, so we'll just have a break now. So off you go.